The Takeover.
Okay. Did we start? Yeah, we did. That's how I start.
Takeover.
Now, there's a lot of things we're going to get into. When I speak, and when I speak, and when I speak.
This is Takeover.
Okay, testing the levels. The levels sound good. Testing the levels. We're testing the levels, and everything sounds good. So this is we're setting up. We're setting up the live podcast. We're setting up the live podcast, which starts in about 10 minutes. And, you know, this episode started obviously because I'm testing out the levels and I'm talking to you. So did we start? Yeah. But we didn't start officially. We started, but we didn't start. And that's what happens with the takeover. There's different starts. There's sometimes different starts. How's my rhythm? It sounds like it's a little off. Did I drink last night? Well, that's what happens. We're going to need coffee to kick in. We're going to need the coffee to kick in. All right, what's up, dudes? Just give me a heads up if you can hear me okay. Like a thumbs up. Cool, you guys can hear me. I can't see the feed of a couple of you, but I know you can hear me. I don't know who Zoom user is. Great. We'll see what happens here. Zoom user. I'll ask to unmute you guys. You guys can all be unmuted. Hello?
Hey.
Hi, Zoom's user. So you can hear me okay?
Yes, but am I supposed to be able to see myself?
I mean, can you see yourself?
No.
I mean, you just have to set up your camera. You don't have to be seen. You don't have to.
Okay.
It doesn't matter as long as you can hear me. Because this is the first live takeover. So, I mean, we got more people. Here we go. And, you know, you don't have to be seen. And I understand that. But let me just keep adding these people in. Otherwise, it will.
I do not know how to do this. Let me see.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine. And then, so give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. And you're in. Cool. You guys are good. So, all right. So this is the first live takeover podcast, and I'm gonna do it, and we can interact with each other. I can, if you need to be unmuted. The only thing is, if I can't see you, that's fine. But if I see you, then like, if you're like, oh, I want to ask a question, you know what? I trust everyone that it won't be crazy. I've been in a few of these where, sorry, you don't have to be unmuted unless you want. But I've been in a few of these. You can mute yourself if you want, but I trust everyone that it doesn't get crazy. I've been in a few of these where. And I think I've seen Gabriel in one of them, like with like Mark's or something like. But his isn't a podcast. But this is more of like I'm gonna try to deliver it like the podcast. But like where people just like are drinking and doing whatever they want and they have fun, which is fine. Which is what I want you guys to do, right? Because what else are you doing? Obviously, that it's Saturday night and you're doing this, so that makes sense. But I will open it to where like you could just ask me anything you want for the most part, except like a couple subjects that I'm obviously not going to talk about, which I don't even have to bring up that you know that I'm not going to talk about. So cool. Well, that's great to always have feedback from everybody just didn't respond. So it's like, wow, was I just talking for no reason? Cool. What's up, Melissa? Where are you? Just walking around a dark alley? Are you trying to get Are you trying to get raped? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, look.
Where are you? So you're just joining a Zoom you're randomly just walking around.
I'm downtown. Yeah.
You're downtown. So I've never actually heard your voice. You are straight up you sound like you'll always vote for Trump. I'm just going to be honest. And we don't get political. We don't get political here.
Right.
But wow. Where are you again?
I'm downtown.
No.
I'm downtown Meridian.
No.
Mississippi.
Okay. Wow.
Let's see.
Mississippi. So I got a couple people on. I got my one buddy on here, Joe, who he has a podcast too. Joe, what's your podcast called?
That's called Absurd Reality.
Absurd Reality. So he's on here. He can he can interject too, and you can ask him questions as well. I've also known Joe. How long have I known you, Joe?
Jeez. Since we were 13, 14?
Sure. We could just make up ages.
Freshman year of high school? When you were a freshman, I was a sophomore?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was high school. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
you know,
Florida?
yeah, South Florida.
From Florida too?
Yes.
Yes.
Accent for sure.
What about Jules? How
Hi.
are you?
I'm good. I'm in Colorado Springs.
I used to have family that lived there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And
I'm
then I went-
originally from Texas, though.
Okay, so that's with less of an accent than Melissa. And you go by Gabriel, you go by Gabe?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Gabe's in San Francisco. I know him. And then I don't know Zoom user. Oh, Zoom user's you. Okay, cool. So if you guys don't want to be seen and you're uncomfortable, that's fine. But like I want to know, are you guys scared? Are you as scared as I am?
Yes.
I was a little. I was just like, I don't know how this was going. Like I've been on the Zoom hangouts. Have you guys done Zoom hangouts?
Yes. It's
Cool.
fun.
Yeah, it's fine. But this is just the first time I'm trying this because I'm going to edit it together. Do any of you have a problem with being on this if I edit it together and put it up as an episode?
No.
I'm good.
Good.
Cool. What if I insert dick things in your face? I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that, but cool. It sounds like we have a very talkative group. This is great that we're doing this, and you know what? It's a good time to have some coffee.
So what's the deal? Do you want to have like a full-on convo, or do you have topics that you want to go over?
I have topics,
which
I was like,
regular
okay,
takeover?
I better have topics in case these people don't want to fucking talk. But I do. It's almost weird because I've doing the podcast by myself. It's easier, but it's also weird because oh my god, I'm just sitting here talking to myself, riffing my ideas and stuff. And then now this feels a little bit like stand up. It's like, oh, I better be punchy. I better get laughs. But podcasts are not like, let's get laughs. It's way different. But
Exactly. Yeah.
But I did a show last night. What?
I was gonna say it's one thing to be alone with your thoughts and kind of let things play out and see where that thought process goes and where that idea goes to, and then have a different conversation with multiple people like this.
Yeah, that's great input right there. It's unbelievable. That's why, okay, I thought I let this person in already. I didn't. Here we go.
Party.
Someone else is in. I let you in. They're joining. Their computer's slower. Hi, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard to the Takeover Live. Welcome to the Takeover Live. Hi, Erica. Can you hear us?
Hey,
Hi, welcome aboard.
can you hear me?
Hi, Erica.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yay,
You're
I got it working.
Hey, that's crazy. You're 6 minutes late. Do you have an
I
excuse?
know.
Do you have a pass from your parents?
Literally my life. 15 is usually my max, so I'm actually doing good right now. So
And where you're in Canada?
yeah, Burlington. So pretty close to Toronto.
Wow. See, we're all different races and ethnicities and sexes, and we all came together for a live podcast. And that's what's great about the world. That's what's great about it. And Joe was saying earlier, he was like, I do have things to go over, but I could just open it up and we could just talk and ask questions.
What do we have to go over?
I mean, I have things to go over in case you guys
There's
are
a
just
whole
fucking mutes.
itinerary. There's a whole.
I have a whole
itinerary.
itinerary in
missed
case
the
I
whole
was dealing with
beginning.
mutes. Who's got music going on? That's got to be Mississippi. I'm in Mississippi, and we got, we're just. How's Mississippi? Mississippi doesn't give a fuck. Everything's open.
No, Mississippi gives a fuck, but not at parties. Yeah. Yes.
So you're at a house party?
No, I'm at I don't know what kind of party. It's like a company party. So my friend just asked me she said, somebody called in or something like that. She says, can you come down here and help? So I said, yeah.
Wow, your voice.
I love your accent. It's really
I know.
cool.
It's so pure.
Really?
Wait, are you working at this party, or are you just hanging out with your friends at this party?
Well, yeah. So I'm hanging out. I'm kind of
Okay.
just, yeah.
And you're like, I got to take
I
this
think
phone
I'm
call.
supposed, yeah. No, I told her I would come down. She said she just didn't want to be bored. So she was like, can you come down and hang out? And I was like, yeah, I don't have any.
Can I be honest? I feel like everybody in Mississippi is always bored, right?
Bored?
Yeah,
you're
I would
right.
feel like if
Oh,
you're in
for
Mississippi,
sure.
you're just fucking bored, and you're like, how do I get
Yeah.
out of here? And the reason
That's
people
right.
don't get out of there is because they get pregnant at 17.
You're so right.
I would, yeah, right. I think that's what, if I lived in Mississippi and I was raised in Mississippi, I'd be like, okay, well, how quickly can I have a kid? That's what it is. My goal is like, I need to be a dad as quick as possible.
For sure. Everybody loves dick down here.
Wow, great.
Wow,
This is the
okay.
content I want.
So,
I mean,
We're
that's
like,
what I've
what,
been
6
trying to
minutes
preach.
in?
Everybody does love dick.
I'm
I mean,
so sorry. No,
What
I
do you
mean, that went along with what you were saying, pregnant
no,
early.
for
So,
sure, but it's okay. You don't have to say sorry. This isn't like a PG episode.
okay.
Have you heard
Well, I
my
didn't know what
podcast
you were going to
before?
post. So,
What? I mean, that's
I didn't know-
definitely going to be in the podcast when I edit it together and I post it.
Oh,
I'm leaving that
no.
post. Everybody loves dick. And with the accent, that's awesome.
That
You
is
should make it a
not what I
shirt.
sound like, but that was, a good try.
Well, I'm not talented enough to do accents, unfortunately. I kind of think that my talent is just, I'm just still trying to figure it out after 10 years in LA. So we'll see what's up. Well, you're close to my buddy Paul. He lives in Georgia now, Atlanta. I have one buddy in here that I've known since I was probably like in middle school. And he probably has crazy stories, but he doesn't have to talk unless he wants to. He'll let me know.
Oh, I love Atlanta.
You do?
Yeah, I go there all the time.
For what? For basketball players or what?
No.
Nice. I got some laughs. I saw across the board. I didn't hear them. I didn't hear them, but I saw the mouths, and this has already been
Do
worth
I
it.
look? Is that what I look like? I look like I'm into basketball players.
No, but wow, I gave you a complex. That's unbelievable. No, I literally was just.
No, I was gonna say thank you.
Oh, really? No, yeah. I mean, I guess.
I don't care.
I'm into basketball players, so it's nothing
Yeah,
sexual.
exactly.
I'm very into them. I'm a big basketball guy. That's cool. And then, what else was I gonna talk about? Who knows? It doesn't matter. I could just start talking and then figure stuff out as I go, because I'll think in my brain about what I'm gonna talk about next as I'm talking, and that's just like a skill from stand-up. So I still haven't figured it out. So I'll still riff and be like, "Wow, it's nighttime over there. Not yet here, kind of. I guess it is. What am I talking about? I don't know." So what's up? How we doing? Why is Joe looking at his watch? Did that make me self-conscious? Of course it did. How long is this gonna go? I don't know. I think it only lets you go 45 minutes, but I'm not sure.
I think the first 45 minutes is free, and then after that, there's a charge.
And then sometimes you're like, I'm not going to do that. And they're like, you know what? We'll let you keep going. Right?
That's never happened to me. I don't know.
Really? And
That happens. That happens.
It does?
Yeah, sometimes. I know it's happened to Mark before.
Yeah. Okay. Then there you go. Mark's is a different setup, but like this is going to be a lot of editing. I'm going to have to make it good, but it's fun. All right, let's start with, does anybody want to raise their hand and has something on their mind that they do want to ask?
Yeah, I'll start.
Jesus, thank God.
Yeah, man. I want to talk to you about, I'm just going to treat this almost as if you were a guest on my podcast. I want to talk to you about your first year in comedy out there, because there's rumors that, when you started doing the open mics, that you did an insane amount of open mics, like far beyond what the average person does. Like your work ethic was, yeah, I'm being dead serious. Between our friend group back home, your work ethic was said to be insane.
Melissa, you want me to mute you so I don't get mad at you? Because I'll get mad at you. All right. I'll mute you until you raise your hand. God, you're lucky you're not next to me or I'd abuse you. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. You're Zoom user because you're sketchy. Zoom user, so nobody really knows your name. You can't talk anymore. So I'm going to answer his question. So, yes, there's rumors. Yeah, I guess, Joe, I mean, I would do it because that's the only thing that made me feel good. I had to do a lot. It's not like New York, whereas in LA, it's hard to get on shows because there's not a lot of shows. But I used to always do... At first, I was just doing a few open mics a week, but then I was just like, I learned that the grind, and I was like, okay, even if you're not like the best writer, there were some guys who would go up a year in and they would like they would have like a really good written joke a year in. They were just good writers, but they were good performers, and I was just like, I'll write on stage and I'll just keep getting up. And yeah, I would try to do like 15 to 20 open mics for like the first 4 or 5 years. I was like that. There was a couple years where I hit like 500 open mics a year because I used to count. Because I'm a little on the spectrum and I love numbers and counting. But
What's the average?
like for a comedian,
Yeah, the average comedian just starting out their first year does how many open mics a week?
I don't know. Just depends. Like how much. Like I was never a drinker or like some guys would hang out at open mics and then like have a beer and then talk amongst each other. But I would run around to other open mics and try to get up 2 to 3 times a day. And even if now the way I know how to like polish a joke or a routine, I would be able to do it way better. But there were times like I was going to 3 mics and saying the same thing. So I wasn't working smart, but like I was understanding the grind a little bit. But if I knew what I knew today, I would be able to do it better, which, is something I might have to do again. Like when comedy does come, I mean, you know what I mean? I did 3 shows last week. I did 1 this week. You know what I mean? So it's like hard. Like I'll go do an open mic right now. Just there's no shows in LA. And when I do a show, they're all like on an outside patio. So like last night when I did the show, I was just like, okay, this is how I'm going to start. And I don't know where it's going to go. And then when I started, I was in my set and then like I'll remember a joke while I'm doing the set. And then I'll forget. I'm like, oh yeah. What else did I used to do there? Because I'm like, it's hard because I'm not doing it every day as opposed to when back in April I was doing it and I was doing a lot of newer stuff. I had like 20 minutes of new stuff. And then like now I'll sometimes just jump back into old stuff that I'll never forget because I'll be like, oh, I got to entertain the crowd for a second. So I'll throw out a joke that I know works, but then I'll get off stage and like look at my notes and be like, man, I forgot all of this. Like it's a little more difficult, but the open mic hustle was just like, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think people were always like, the open mics are horrible. They're rough. And I'm like, yeah, they're rough for everyone. But eventually you do it so many times that like it becomes fun. Like even if no one's laughing, you're just like I like holding on to a mic. I think that's why I like doing this podcast by myself. Like a lot of podcasts are with other comedians and stuff. And I will do more guests through Zoom now. This is why I'm testing this out mostly, doing a live show, so that I can see how I can edit it and post. So then I can hit up other comedians and be like, hey, you want to do this podcast and stuff like that. If they're not scared to do it yet, I have to just see how some of them feel.
What's the vibe like at these pop-up shows in LA now? Like, is it negatively affecting your performance? Is it just weird to be there? Is the crowd into it? Are they?
Yeah, no, everybody's into it because I think everybody's just excited to be doing something. I did a show last week in a park, and people were sitting on the steps, and I was outside, and they're laughing. It's not as electric. The one last night was in the back patio of this Greek restaurant over on in West Hollywood near the hospital near Cedars. Definitely looked illegal. Definitely looked like they would have broke it up. Like there was like 30 people crammed in a porch. There's no way they would have allowed that.
No, absolutely not. Especially the store was supposed to have shows.
Yeah, a lot of the shows that we're doing in LA right now are all illegal. You're not allowed to be. I think you could do them at a park, but if they're at like like my buddy Mark had one at 40 Love, like that's not you're not allowed to do that.
No. What about the ones at the Magic Castle?
That's in the cars. They're in the cars.
Okay.
So they're in the cars, and then they have like little clappers. I heard it's okay, but I mean, this is how it's going to be for a minute.
A good while, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that. So this part would probably be edited out. The little lull we had right there.
Okay. Let's. Is anyone interested in hearing any stories from when you first started opening for bigger comedians?
Well, careful. We don't want to get too far into those questions.
Well, that's why I didn't.
I mean, I actually don't care. I think I trust enough people in here, but you just never know if someone's like recording and then they're like, hey.
Well, I mean, like, I was gonna say, like, I know you opened for Bobby Lee in the beginning and some other people, and
yeah.
What were the? I mean, I don't. Obviously, there's certain people I don't want to bring up because of what's going on, but is Bobby Lee okay to talk about? Is that something that's going to be an issue or?
No, I could talk about Bobby. He's all right. Our friendship's a little rocky these days, but it's fine. Yeah, I mean, he's as a performer. Nobody's gonna like. The only reason I always like I could be real on this. This isn't a lot of people. There's like less than 10 of us, but there's like always was the fear of like someone screen recording it and then posting on YouTube. Oh, his opener's talking about, like, you know what I mean? But nobody's gonna do that. But Bobby Lee's fine. He first of all, if you ever see him live, he's like the only one who can do his set and make it look like it's his first time doing it. Whereas like I can get sick of jokes within a year and then be like and have to phone it in if I'm doing a big show like like Paul see me in Atlanta. We did what's that theater called? Do you know? Let me unmute him real quick.
It was the Tabernacle.
The Tabernacle. So we did that. That's where I believe Chappelle shot one of his specials there. But it was a big crowd, so it's like in those moments it's easier to phone it in because you have more of an electric crowd. But Bobby, going back to Bobby, even though this isn't even answering your question yet about Bobby, but going back to Bobby, like he's really good. Like he's been doing some of those bits for fucking 10 years. And it's like, okay, but that's just how he is. That's like his skill set. Nobody can really do that. Like eventually you get sick of doing the same joke over and over. But opening for Bobby was fun. He's generous in that with a lot of every young comedian opens for him. I feel like that's the first guy that kind of brings you in the road if he sees you around a lot and he likes you. But he's a bit of a hazer too, because you could tell he was one of those guys. Like you remember when we joined a fraternity, like I was always cool and didn't care and just liked to make friends. But then there was those kids who were like a little dorkier probably in high school. So they wanted to use that power to be a dick because I don't know, something like that, because people were dicks to them, so they wanted to retaliate when they finally got to that level. I feel like he has a little bit of that, but now we've always been like a love-hate relationship, but we've had arguments.
How did it start? How did you wind up opening for Bobby? Was it something that you reached out to him and said, "Oh, no, really?"
Yeah. You don't ask really until you get older and you know everyone. Then you can be like, "Yo, I saw you're gonna be here. I'm gonna be there." Or, "Hey, I'm looking for some work. Could you help me out?" Blah blah blah. If it's someone that you're not putting them in an awkward situation. Like there's a lot of comedians who just can't read the room sometimes. Like they'll be like, "Hey man, I would love to open you." It's like, "What, do you even have a relationship with this guy? Like, have you ever just sat down one-on-one with him and had lunch or some shit like that?" Like you got to know who to ask and when to ask. But in the beginning, you got to wait to be asked. For sure. That's how it was. Once somebody asked and was like, "Hey, you can host for me or open for me," that opened up the door to be like, for future, be like, "Oh, can I do that one with you?" And then, that's how that worked.
Did you ever have a joke or a set where he or any other comedian that you opened for came up to you and said, "That's fucking trash. Let's either help you fix it or just told you to remove it completely"?
I mean, there's times when like, nah, because most of the time people know you're like trying to figure stuff out, and like you get good enough to where you know if a joke didn't work or not, and it's like, I mean, I've done shows. There were times when I did shows with Chris where I didn't have a good set, and like, or with Bobby when I first started out, and it was a big show, and then they're like, "Well, people are paying a lot of money to come see these shows. You better fucking bring it. Like, don't fuck around as much." Like on those bigger theater shows, like I would just bring it. Whereas if I'm at the Laugh Factory, I don't care if a fucking joke doesn't work. I'm just gonna see what happens. If a joke doesn't work today, with how long I've been doing stand up, I can make people laugh from it not doing well. I'll be like, okay. I go, "Oops, sorry, didn't do a good job today." I don't know.
As someone who's watched your career from the very beginning, like I watched you in Florida. Then I've seen you in New York, and now I see you in LA. I've seen your set get better. I've seen you grow as a comedian. What do you think was probably the biggest? What are the things that? Trying to figure out the best way to ask this question. What do you
usually just words? If you use words and then you put them in a sentence, that works.
What do you think contributed to you getting better along the last 5 to 10 years?
Just stage
Do you think
time.
it's just constantly doing it? Is it you've
like anything else? Like I mean, everything. Like everyone here has done something over 1,000 times. Melissa, it's suck a dick. Joe, it's wipe his ass. You know what I mean? I know she could handle that joke. That's why I did it. I didn't hear laughs, so again, I got in my head. I was like, "Is that too much?" But she's muted, so I can't even. My bad. I gotta unmute. Hey. Hey. Hey, Melissa.
Hey.
Cool.
Well, listen.
I'm listening.
No, I mean I was laughing.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. Okay. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I mean, dude, Joe, I think that's with anything. Go. If you do anything a fucking 1,000 times, you get good at it. And that's whether it's cleaning the dishes or doing stand-up or playing the piano. Like, it's just repetition.
Was from repetition, or was it because you found a way to write and you found a way to?
Well, you have to, but you find that over time. Like I said, when I was doing those open mics, I was just like going to every open mic, doing the same thing 3 times. Like I wasn't working smart. Are you getting nervous, Melissa? What about any of you other guys, or should me and Joe just keep running the goddamn show?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any advice for people in their 20s? Like, if you could go back, what would you tell Michael Lenoci?
Cute question. Wait, how old are you?
28, so I'm like on my way out.
Oh
my God.
Grown up in Colorado?
Yeah, Colorado Springs.
No, do you like it there?
I do. I love it. Yeah.
Wait, Colorado Springs is very like conservative, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I remember we did a show back there a couple of years ago.
That's actually, well, you actually were here, I think it was last year, with Chris, and that's when I first saw you and Chris.
Oh, yeah. I remember that show. That was a cool place.
Was it cool? I mean,
we're in and out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like we're like hanging out in the city and being like, oh, I heard this is cool. Let's go there. But I remember I had cousins that lived there back in the day. They don't anymore, but I had visited there and I went. I was like 10. It was my first time seeing snow on the ground. And my mom's like, we're going to go skiing. And I was like, okay. And they're like, you've never done it, so we're going to have you go cross-country skiing. And I was like, this sucks. This is like the worst experience ever. So I never, till this day, I've never skied. I was like, why am I doing the hard one? This is like, I'm flat
terrified.
Surface.
I'm terrified to go.
So like, what advice do you want? Because I actually have great advice for everyone because I know everything. And that's how I think, and that's the best way to think.
I can't think of anything specific, just general life advice. Like, if you could go back, what would you tell yourself? Specifically in your 20s.
I would tell myself all the mistakes I'm gonna make and avoid them. I'd be like, hey, all of this is gonna happen. I'd be like, hey, there's gonna be a fucking pandemic in 2020, so start saving your money now.
So buy masks and a lot of toilet paper.
Yeah, and prepare for it. I think in your 20s, I think you care too much about shit that doesn't affect your life. I think that goes away in your 30s a little bit more. So there's that, and I think your 30s are the best time of your life so far. I mean, I haven't got to 40 yet, but that could be. I don't know if that's true for everyone. I just think that mentally, you're just a little bit more independent and confident in your choices and thoughts, and I wish I had that in my 20s. Because I think I would be even further along or more successful, or I would have grown as a person even more. Like if I, had that, if I had the confidence, it would be having confidence in what I was thinking or believing or doing or anything I was doing. I had no confidence in my 20s. Like, sure, with certain things like, maybe even dating or with a woman, but cool, the neighbors have the kids outside and I can hear them and that's pissing me off. That's really great. So that's cool. Are they screaming? What's going on? Is there a water park over here? Like they're going to hear that. Anyway, can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Wow. So glad I don't have kids. I could never raise kids in fucking Hollywood. Like I don't understand how people do that. Like they're running around like next to my house. What are you doing? Like go to this fucking valley and live in the suburbs. Like the way we grew up in Florida was crazy. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh, just like the confidence fact. Would you guys agree? I know there's everyone I think in here is in their 30s. Right? Right? Wouldn't you say like that was a big thing about being in your 20s was the confidence thing in your like it's not like we were walking around insecure, but like you You just were unsure about things, even if you acted like you were positive about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, totally.
I always used to say if I could go back to like high school or even like 10 years ago, it would be so different because like everything's just so different. So I wish I could go back and redo it in a way because it'd be so like a whole different story. But
I think here's the careful with that. I think everybody thinks like that, but I think and I think you would agree. You don't want people to think like, oh, I have regrets, and it's not that. It's like
right, 100%. Yeah.
It would be a superpower.
If I could just redo it, it'd be like, yeah,
of course. But then that would be like a superpower, and that wouldn't be fair.
100%. Yeah.
Because you almost think when you would meet people in high school or college and they were so smart ahead of everyone, you're like, are you from the future? Like, how do you get it? Like, there were people who just had like an old soul like when you were younger. So there's that. But at 20, you said you're 28 or 29?
Me? Or who? Jules? Actually, we're the same age, I think. I'm turning 29 in a month.
I'm 28.
Turning 29 or just turned 28?
Turning 29 next year.
Okay, so for you guys, for your age, don't you feel like, oh, I know, like what you were when you were 24 to today is totally different? Don't you feel
100%.
like I think 25 to 30 is the biggest growing gap?
Right. Well, it's just you're out more in the real world, and I don't know, sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing with my life. So
well, I felt that way when I was like 26, and then that's when I came to LA. But I don't think that's like you're running out of time. Like,
no, it doesn't feel that way.
Some people don't find the groove of what they want to do in their career until their 30s anyways. Like, I was so dumb at 24. When I graduated college, I was in sales because everybody's like, that's what you got to do. You have to do that if you like to talk to people. And now looking back, like it's so easy how they set up sales jobs for you to succeed. But like when you're 24, you're like, what? I'm a fucking idiot. I'm like if I had to go get a sales job tomorrow, I feel like I would fucking work it. Like, literally, it's so simple. They literally give you, hey, here's our product. Here's a suggestion on how you should sell it. Here's a pitch. And then put your own personality in it and then go meet people. That's it. It's like that simple. But like when I was 24, I was like, well, it's so, I don't know why it's so difficult to understand that. But like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Are you scared to turn 40? Are you like one of those people that are afraid to get older?
No. I mean, it's always been, the best part of my life has been the last 5 years. The best part of my life was everything until April 2020. But because I'm doing what I love, so I don't know. It depends. It depends if you're, not everybody gets to do what they love, one. But then I also understand, like, my mom sometimes says, well, you don't know what makes people happy. Because I used to, like, push all the time. I'm like, I can't imagine living a 9-to-5 life, going home to a wife, and then putting your kids to bed, and then doing that over and over and over. Like, that was the terrifying thing for me. But then you also realize, I realize this now, what I'm about to say, in my 30s, that when like all my friends who have kids now, that wipes everything out. You're just like, oh, this is life, and this is what's important, and this is all I care about. So that's part of the reason I think I'm not there yet, is that would scare me a little bit, of like, I want to get further along in my career before I would ever think about having kids, because I don't want that to be a kryptonite. Not that it's a bad thing, because that will be essentially the best thing that ever happens to you, right? You have a kid, you love them, but like, I don't want that to change my journey, I guess, or something. I would want to give the kid everything. I would want to spoil them, and with my lifestyle, don't think I would be able to yet, at least.
Right, that makes sense.
So, yeah.
I had a question for you. Going back to the opening thing, do you think a comedian works with you more for your performance style or your personality?
They're friends. It's your friend. Like, you're gonna want to bring your friend on the road. But I mean, like, it was a big group of friends we had. Like, starting out, like, one of my first group of friends, like, well, one of my first best friend in comedy was always Fahim Anwar, and we would always hang out a lot because, like, he was like a paid regular at the store and he was doing well, but like he just didn't like. He was just kind of like. We were total opposites. We would never have been friends if it wasn't for comedy, and we would hang out a lot. And then like, I started hanging out with my buddy Brent and Jason, and then Chris, and then there was just a group of friends, and everybody would like. Chris would bring people on the road all the time. Like he used to bring this kid Andy on the road. He's still a good friend with us. We we all chat and have like a group chat, but like Andy would sometimes just not do as well. His work ethic wasn't there. Andy's a funny guy, but like he's not around in comedy a lot. Like none of you guys would know who he is. But he when I was hosting, I used to host all the time for these guys, and they were featuring. And then like Brent Morin used to always feature for Chris, and then he got big enough to where he could start touring himself. But he was always good. But like it's a little bit of both. Like you're gonna bring certain guys are so big. It depends. Like someone like Tom Segura. Does everybody know who he is? Yeah, I mean, you guys are all comedy fits. So someone like Tom Segura is a family man. He's got a wife with 2 kids. He's not really hanging out as much. He kind of does his spots, and then he goes home. So he's not like part of the comedians that like do spots around town, and then we all go to diners and like hang out and laugh. So he probably just brings people that, oh, I like him. I think he's funny, or he's doing favors. Whereas like some other.
Hey, what's happening with the switch to like the new YouTube member thing?
Oh,
yeah,
so
I wanted to ask, do we stay on Patreon or do we like?
no, so switch over to the YouTube thing because
Like
so
fully stop?
let me just
with
wait
the
till they
Patreon?
all get in. Cool. So you guys are all in. So we're just missing Melissa, I think, and then my buddy Paul, whatever. They'll come. I mean, they got the message. So the YouTube thing, what's great about this is like obviously YouTube caught on to like Patreon becoming so big. I think Patreon got even bigger during COVID. So they were like I just saw it. Nobody even I feel like nobody's doing this, so I'm just getting on it first. But I saw that like YouTube has a membership thing, and I looked into it and I go, oh, this is the same as Patreon, but it's like easier because it's on YouTube. Like then I don't have to fucking upload these Patreon videos and then put them on Patreon, which Patreon looks like a half-ass website anyways, but it's just like this is way easier. And then there's also like if you're on someone's home YouTube page, it just says join, so it's just like I feel like easier to grow the Patreon through YouTube. So I was like, it's not like my Patreon's that big yet, but I was like, I should just tell these people. I know I'm gonna lose some people from the Patreon. They're just not gonna do it, which is fine. But I feel like in the long run, I'll be able to grow a bigger membership through YouTube because it's just like the way it's organized is easier.
You're gonna shut down your Patreon?
What's that?
You're gonna shut it down, your Patreon?
Well, the thing is, when I upload the videos, like for the Patreon videos I was putting on, those were YouTube links that were unlisted, right? So now when I'm uploading them onto Patreon, onto YouTube, it gives you a drop-down box to select the membership of what memberships you want, because the tiers are for the most part the same on YouTube. So yeah, now I can't, if I'm gonna, I can't do both. That's what I wanted to, but then like I would have to upload the video twice and put one as unlisted, and then one. It's just like an extra step. Whereas feel like, I don't know how. Are you like? I guess I don't know. Are you a part of a lot of Patrons? So it's just like everything's on there for you. Is it easier?
No. I only have like one more.
That's what I'm saying. I just think that I'm getting on it first, and YouTube's just a way bigger company, and I feel like they're for what I do, and I want my podcast to be bigger on YouTube. I feel like that's the best move to do. So I know that it's gonna hurt the Patreon a little bit, but a year from now it will be better because everybody who, first of all, if you watch Patreon videos, then you're watching probably on YouTube as well, but now it's all put together.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's all hand in hand. So now I can just like literally, just straight from YouTube, I can, put up the Patreon videos and then select the tiers. Like the tiers are the same for the most part. They're the same. There's like one less one, but I just made it to where it's more like the higher tiers get 4 videos, the middle tier gets 3, and then there's a and then the first one gets 1, and then there's like a shout out one too. But like, so I just think that's the better move going forward.
Sounds good.
What the hell were we talking about before? I guess it doesn't matter, right? Because we're done with that. There's no way we can. Hi guys, welcome back to the takeover. We had a moment, and now we're back. See, I'm just gonna edit that part in there. Great, Melissa. Let's just be loud again, huh? Can we be loud
I think
again?
that's someone else. I think that's someone else actually, because Melissa's, I think, muted.
Oh yeah, she is.
She is now.
It's Mickey Mouse.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh. You little son of a bitch. Hey, Joe. We had to mute your little Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, because you sent me the link in Instagram, and I couldn't pull it from Instagram to my computer, so I just copied the link and sent it to her real quick, so I can click it through my computer.
Bro, I was having the
logged in.
same problems. At the minute it went out, I go, oh my God, what a disappointment. And then I was just like, I don't have my phone, so how do I get the link to people like you who didn't, I was just like, fuck, how do I get this link to people? But now I figured it out. And everything's going to be fine. Everything is fine, and we're back to, you know what? It's just going to make me have to edit a lot. Hey, how are you?
I'm Mickey Mouse.
Okay,
No,
hey,
Mickey
listen.
Mickey Mouse.
What?
You guys are on a live Zoom with other people, and, you know, let's just be respectful, right? Katie?
What's going on right now?
Where are you guys?
I think you should just boot her out.
Are you embarrassed? Nobody knows, Joe. Hey, Katie, where are you?
Hi. We're at a pumpkin patch, to be honest.
Oh, wow, that's the most October thing you could be doing. That's cool.
We're in Jersey.
You're in Jersey? Oh, of course you guys are in Jersey. Who are you with? Your friends? Are you guys drinking and driving?
Yeah, we're drinking and driving. Seriously. Yeah, we're
Well,
really
that's not. Well, now we have evidence, so you're in trouble.
Wow,
So
this is horrible.
Don't
Let's
fucking
keep a
air
lookout.
this.
this is being recorded.
Delete
I'm
it.
definitely gonna air that part.
Delete this delete these records immediately.
Are you with your Jersey friends? Who's driving? What's up?
Well, we're actually from New York, but we're in Jersey. Wait, one girl's from Jersey. She's in Jersey.
I like Jersey girls because they're like there's so much drama.
Well, that's kind of true.
Okay.
What is happening? We're in your podcast.
Yeah, you are. You're a part of it right now. Do you guys want to say
Joe-
your names?
Joe is so embarrassed. Joe is so embarrassed right now.
I think
Joe,
he's
we
more
love
embarrassed-
you.
You know
Joe.
what he's more embarrassed about is how Jersey you became when you went back to Jersey. Like your accent was thick, and then you went back to Jersey and like he's so embarrassed. Like it's like
Your accent tripled. It's not even real.
and you guys are in a car. You're
Joe, I can just see
literally
Joe
the
like
beginning of a
freaking
scary
his
movie.
life
You're
right
just
now.
driving.
No.
Your accent is crazy.
So stop. You can't talk.
Yeah, your accent. I mean, Melissa literally sounds like a Forrest Gump.
No, this is the
Where
light.
are you? There's a
Appreciate it.
giant
But
red
you love
light
Forrest
on.
Gump.
I do.
We are in Pumpkin Central. We're in a pumpkin patch. I'm
No,
not
you're in a
kidding.
car, so you're not in
You're
a
in a
pumpkin
car.
batch.
And there's a
We're
red
in
light
my
shining on you. Like, where is
house.
this light coming from?
Show the pumpkins.
Yeah, show the pumpkins. I'm down for that.
I don't know how to do
What
that.
is Kita's
not
Wait, just look out the window. Hurry up, and just aim it out the window this way.
Look.
This way.
See pumpkins.
What?
What is it?
It's
Christmas?
Is that a
I'm
pumpkin
excited.
patch? Is it like a drive-through?
This honestly looks
It's
like
a
the worst
drive-thru.
episode of Cops.
Oh no! Whoa, look at this. Look at the scary pumpkin. All right,
See?
all right, this is sweet.
Well, I hope he breaks up with you after this.
Wait, listen
Yeah.
to the scary
If you guys
music.
haven't figured it out, Katie's
We're in
my
the
girlfriend.
graveyard. Don't send me something. I'm gonna come into it. All right. Well, we'll go. We don't want to ruin it. Bye.
No, you can't. I can mute you. It's fine. You don't have to go. I mean, you guys can still watch.
Okay.
We're watching
I'm sorry if I interrupted something.
It was in addition to this whole experience. Thank you. It was great. The pumpkin patches. We don't have anything like that in Canada. Any like lit, maybe during Christmas.
Well, you
but
guys
not-
don't have holidays up there, right?
What? Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Canada
We're
has
not like
holidays?
Michael.
that's like an igloo type of comment there. Yes, we're very similar. We're not like Jehovah's or anything. We're like.
I know.
Super...
I was just doing it for the bit.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, no, but some people think
later.
that, right? Some people think that, but
Yeah.
no, we're super the same. But
What's up,
I like
Paul?
all the
Welcome
content
back.
of it.
Paul looks the same since he was 16. I'm gonna ask him to unmute.
Must be lucky.
All right. Well, thanks for that.
Are you a little shy right now?
Well, I've been up like all day. I've been up since like 4 this morning, so I'm exhausted and I feel like I look like shit.
But I mean, no, you don't look like shit. I mean, dude, you're older than me, and you still look
By, like,
younger.
What, a year?
What are you, 38 or 37?
I think so.
I think
Something
we have
like
like
that.
almost the same birthday, if I remember.
Yeah, we're both Geminis.
So yeah, which is crazy, right, ladies? Right? Melissa has a lot of feedback about Geminis, right?
That's right.
I didn't say that because like I believe in horoscopes or anything. I'm just like time frame. Yeah, we're summer babies, right?
Yeah.
When's your birthday? June what?
June 15th.
14th.
14th.
Yeah. That's
June
good.
15th's mine.
Really?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then Joe's is in December.
October 1st.
Yeah.
You were close though.
Oh yeah, it was. I literally called you on your birthday.
You wished me a happy birthday.
You know what, dude? I thank God I had Facebook notification. I go, oh, let me tell him happy birthday. And you're in Coral Springs.
Right now, I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Pompano, that border. My parents moved there after we graduated high school.
Cool. We didn't ask for that. We just wanted to know where you were.
I'm trying to elaborate and make things a little more interesting and try to give you information to riff off of.
Appreciate it.
Sorry, we got a lot of great content so far. It's been unbelievable. I don't know what I was talking about before this, but there was I was on a good one, and then everything just shut down, and I go, wow.
And then my girlfriend ruined everything. She ruined your train of thought. I apologize for that.
It's fine. It's fine. That kid went from House of Highlights, whatever his name is, to Sports Center. He started posting Sports Center's just posting viral videos. It will be like a girl jumping off a rope swing and then falling on her back. Like they just, it's not Sports Center anymore. And I used to troll them, and they fucking restricted me. I found out. I was like, I'm not getting it. I was like, what? Like that huge fucking Instagram account restricted me because I was trolling them so much, making fun of it. I was like, oh wow. I was like, I got a taste of my own medicine. Because if you restrict someone, then nobody sees their comments, but they don't know. But I figured it out because I went to one of my other accounts. I was like, man, I used to fucking kill with some of these jokes on there because I used to like to have hilarious jokes under posts. I would do it with Britney Spears a lot. And then with the Sports Center one, I was like, man, I didn't get any likes on this. And I was like, oh, they fucking restricted me because I was trolling them too much. Cool. That's glad I talked about that. Is everybody frozen?
You don't.
Yeah. Actually, I've been to Georgia once, and all those gnats and all those.
Yeah.
We don't see them up here, but all those bugs that are always around. I don't know how you guys deal with that, to be honest.
Yeah.
You don't have bugs
stay
in Canada?
inside.
Yeah.
Do you not have bugs in Canada?
Well, we do, but mosquitoes are pretty big, horsefly, all that stuff, but not those annoying. I remember being
gnats.
in Georgia,
Gnats.
There all the time. And I was like, why the fuck are you guys here? There's no reason. and it was a little overwhelming, but yeah.
Where did Michael go?
What do you
I
mean?
see him.
He's back in. I'm still here.
We had to go.
Well, it's you're not the host or something. Your picture's not there.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
when you
you're,
talk,
you're
you're
a
not popping
small
on the
picture
screen.
now. Yeah.
You can't see me right now.
Okay, now it's
There you are.
Huh.
Maybe it's because you weren't talking and we were just taking over.
Oh, because maybe I'm now
It's
just
a takeover.
A participant.
You're now
I'm
the
not-
audience.
Participant.
We're
We're taking over.
The host again.
Well, then
Stop.
who got to?
It's when you left, it switched to Gabriel.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
a host
Wow.
for a bit.
Well,
yeah.
But not anymore.
Gabe took over.
he's a producer. He's the producer now.
But we effectively took over the takeover.
It was a great job. It was
All right,
it was a good
this one's
collective.
got 10 minutes left, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, we got an hour and a half, and it will be way more smoother next time I do it in a month.
Speed round.
But it was cool. It was a good experience to learn.
Mhm.
It was a
Lenoci, I
great
want to ask you
experience.
another question.
Yeah.
So now that you've had some great success and you've got to travel around the country and meet a lot of celebrities, has there been a celebrity that you've met that you've been really starstruck by, like have been like, taken aback by?
For sure.
You know the answer to that.
Eminem. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was the, that was it.
Goals.
Nothing will top that. The only thing that would top that is probably hanging out with LeBron. Like, that would be fucking really cool. Which, he's going to live here forever. So, at least for
How long was like the whole? Sorry to interrupt, but like, how long was the whole thing with Eminem? Like, how long did you hang out with him?
2 hours. Like, we were there for 2 hours. Yeah, we thought it would be like, we thought it would be like just a meet and greet, and then we walk it. Well, we're at this casino place in Detroit, and then before we went on the trip, my buddy Zach, who was with us, he's in the picture. He used to work for Interscope back in the day. I met him when I first moved out here, and we've always been friends. And then over the years, I was like, we need help. Why don't you help, like, come on the road with us, help sell merch and stuff like that. And he used to work for Interscope, and he was Steve Berman's assistant. And if you know a lot about Eminem, then you've heard the name Steve Berman. So that was always cool. And I would go to Interscope, and we'd always talk and hear stories about Eminem and Dr. Dre and stuff. And we used to always joke around, like, man, you got to find a way if he's ever in LA, like, just to meet him. He we love him. He's our idol. And going back to this, Paul will tell you, when we were younger, like, he's what got me into music. Like, we were like, I mean, that's like 98, 99. We used to like try to rap like it. We weren't like, I wasn't good, but like, we loved Eminem. Like, I don't know if I went with him, but I went to like his anger management tour concert. But like, he was huge for a lot of kids. Most like white kids in the suburbs, which is how we grew up. We were all such big fans of him. So it was like he was like, I don't know, man. I want to say he was like an influence in a way. In some way, he influenced me a lot comedically. I want to say, I don't know, just like his story of how he came from literally rock bottom. Not that I came from rock bottom. I had a great upbringing, but he just, like, his story was very inspiring. And like, I never cared about music really. I was just a sports guy, and he opened up music to me to where, like, as you get older, you explore other things. Like, I mean, Amy Winehouse, the Beatles, like, the only reason I know anything about music is just because he got me into music. So I always used to think about, like, wow, what a dream it would be to meet that guy. And so then cut to LA, my buddy, we would always joke around when he worked for Interscope. He didn't work for Interscope anymore, but he would still keep in touch with Berman and stuff. And then we used to always say, man, when we go to Detroit, you should hit up Berman and try to figure out if we can meet him. That would be crazy. And then that stuff with Chris happened where he was like, he did the viral video, and then Eminem saw it and then retweeted it. And then when Detroit was on the schedule, we were like, oh, this could happen. We were telling Chris, we're like, yo, Zach, I'm gonna, like, in our group text, we're like, hey, have Zach hit up Berman and be like, maybe we could set something up. He's like, no, don't do that. And Chris was trying to surprise me because he knew how big of a fan I was. He was just like, I actually got to tell you something. He's like, this was a week before we left. He goes, Eminem's peep hit up our people to be like, hey, let's set up a meet and greet when they're in Detroit. And I was like, for real? And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, so pumped. So we had a week run. We were going from, I think we were somewhere, maybe we're, what's close to Michigan? We were somewhere in Michigan and somewhere south of Michigan. Maybe we're in Minnesota as well. Whatever. We were doing a run up there, wherever, you igloo people live. And we were doing a week run. It was one of our longer runs. Like, we went on the road from like Tuesday to Tuesday. It was like a week-long run. And he said that, so we were excited, and we were all talking about, like, wow, this would be crazy. And in my head the whole time, I was like, this isn't going to happen. He's going to cancel. Like, there's no way we're going to meet him. And then Chris finally heard back, and he was like, hey, the meeting's set up. It's for 4:00 Tuesday. So we're going to go meet him, and then we'll go straight to our show after. They said maybe he'll come to the show too. I was like, what? There's no way he's going to come to the show. How would that even work? People would be like so distracted that he was there. If you do a theater and there's 1,000 people, word would get around that he was in the crowd. Like, it would never go down. So they were like, Tuesday's the meeting. This was like on Sunday. And then the whole time I'm like, it's going to cancel. It's going to get canceled. It's going to get canceled. There's no way this is happening. And the night before no canceled, I'm like, okay, us three, me, Zach, and Chris sat in the room and we just were listening to Eminem all night. Just like laughing, like joking around, saying how we're going to embarrass Chris. But like, it was real. We were like, oh my God, we're really going to meet him? Like, this is fucking crazy. And then the car picked us up at like 4 p.m. and we drove outside of Detroit to fucking 8 Mile. Like, he has his studio is right there off of 8 Mile, like what he talks about, like literally like where he started doing those things. And we pull up and this lady is at the studio. She comes out and she walks us in and I'm first. I walk in, then Chris is behind me, my buddy's behind me, his day-to-day manager and this other personal assistant there is behind us, and we walk and they're like up there on the right, and I walk up to the right and I look in and I see him just sitting there like he's on a chair like this, just like kind of like looking down, and then looks up and I just freeze and I go, I didn't want to go in first because I was like, he's gonna be like, who's this? Like, I was just like, Chris, go first. And I went like, I stopped, I go, Chris, go. And like Chris jumped in front of me and he went in, and then Eminem stood up and then he was like, yo, what's up? And then he was just like, yo, what's up? And then like they shook hands, and then I did mine, but I didn't go all the way in. I went half, so there was that first awkward moment. I was like, what's up? I was like, oh, I already fucked that up. And then we all get in the room, and then there's his day-to-day manager, another manager he has there, and then one of his homeboys, who wasn't a D12 guy, but we picked up that he was a rapper, but we didn't know who he was. And then my buddy Zach then sits down, and then Eminem, and then Chris sits next to Eminem, and I'm just standing up the whole time. I'm just like looking at him. I'm like, yeah, cool. And then we start talking, and Chris he's like, thanks for sharing that. That was just like crazy, a dream come true. And then eventually I was like, I should sit down. And then I sit down, and then I'm sitting really like straight across from Eminem, just looking at him. And then the start of the conversation was about like Chris's impression. And then we just start talking, and then eventually, like, I felt comfortable enough to like ask him a question. I was asking him about the rap game, like what does he think about some up and coming rappers that I don't know if you guys would know, but I was asking him about like NF and like just these young, like I was like, yo, your influence. There's so many young white rappers coming up. Like, you're starting to see it now. Do you listen to them and see yourself in them? And he's like, yeah, I hear lines all the time. And I'm like, that sounds familiar. You know what I mean? Like, we would talk about that. Is it still working?
1 minute left.
Yeah, it's still going. I figured it would have cut out by now.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I thought it would have.
Mine says you got about 45 seconds.
Aw.
Well, this was awesome, guys.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Do it, Coach Lenoci.
All right. Well, I might. Did it cut out yet? No. I might be able to save it.
But it will.
Call a timeout, Coach.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It was nice to meet everybody face to face.
It was a pleasure to meet you all.
Pleasure.